Friends, today I'm discussing the MCQs appeared in paper 2 Physiology of RGUHS University held on 11 February 2023. This paper 2 in bracket RS4 and the QP code is 1023. There are 10 questions, 10 MCQs, and each of these MCQs are labeled as 21, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For my convenience, I have labeled it question number 1. Here I have given the exact the number given in the question paper. 21, 1. This is the exact number in the question paper. Endolymph is secreted by Reissner's membrane, tectorial membrane, stria vascularis, outer hair cells. It is the organ of Carty here. Here in the center you have the scala media, and these two are scala vestibula and scala tympani. And the scala vestibula and scala tympani contains the perilymph, and the scala media contains the endolymph. Now, if you hear, this is the Reissner's membrane. This separates the scala media from scala vestibuli. And this is the stria vascularis. This is stria vascularis. And these are the tectorial outer, these are outer hair cells. And this is tectorial membrane. Now, the stria vascularis is the mainly vascular structure that secretes the potassium ions. The composition of the scala media is different than the composition of the fluid present in the scala media is different from the composition of the fluid present in the scala vestibuli or scala tympani, because scala vestibuli and the tympani, they are each communicate at the tip of the cochlea. Now, the answer to this question is endolymph is secreted by stria vascularis. I have already mentioned about other structures associated with this, and this you can get it from any textbooks, but I have referred to Guyton and Hall, textbook of medical physiology, page 668, 14th edition, 2021. Moving on to the next question, question number 2, very easy question. 21, 2 is the question number in the question paper. Heteronymous hemianopia is seen in. Heteronymous means both are not in the same site, they are different site. A, optic chiasma, B, lateral geniculate body, C, optic tract, D, optic nerve. Now look at this. So this is optic chiasma. Maybe in the optic chiasma, this is the B is the central lesion. This is the optic nerve. A is optic nerve. C bar is a optic tract, and this is a lateral geniculate body here. This is lateral geniculate body. Now, heteronymous means two in different sites. So you look here, it is an optic nerve lesion wherein you got the total enopia, the total loss on the left side. Then B, you have a bitemporal hemianopia, or it is also known as a heteronymous hemianopia, bitemporal heteronymous hemianopia, that is in the optic chiasma. Then optic tract, it is a homonymous hemianopia. You can just see that, see here, homonymous hemianopia. Then here the again homonymous hemianopia. Now, the answer to this question is optic chiasma. Now, there can be two reasons. One, tumor, pituitary tumor pressing on the center of the optic chiasma produces such a type of a lesion. Or in case of a papilledema, where the external pressure from the fluid, so they may compress the optic chiasma. When they compress the optic chiasma, then you will have these two nasal fields will be lost. That is a binasal hemianopia. That is also a heteronymous hemianopia. So lesions in the optic chiasma produce either a peripheral constriction or central tumor, produce a heterodymus hemianopia. That's the correct response is optic chiasm. Moving on to the next question, question number 3, 21.3. Spinocerebellar tract carries sensation of. Spinocerebellar tract carries sensation of 1A, conscious proprioception, B, crude touch, C, unconscious proprioception, D, pain. The spinocerebellar is concerned with the position sense or whatever doing while doing in action. So now it should be proprioception. So it is not crude touch. Crude touch is carried by the anterior or anterolateral spinothalamic tract. Maybe it's a ventral spinothalamic tract. The pain is carried by the lateral spinothalamic tract. Now, we have a conscious proprioception. Conscious proprioception is carried by the dorsal column sensations from the fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus, going through the medial meniscus to the thalamus, and then to the area 312, opsomatosensory area 312. So that is a conscious preparation for the telling about the position of the particular joint or body. Now, unconscious proprioceptions, they do not go to the cerebrum, they will go to the cerebellum. And here the cerebellum modulates these unconscious positioning or unconscious acting so that they are immediately corrected. The correct response to this question is unconscious proprioception. So proprioception is conscious and unconscious, static and dynamic. So all these unconscious proprioceptive inputs are carried by the spinocerebellar tract. So there are two spinocerebellar tract in the ventral spinocerebellar tract, dorsal spinocerebellar tract. Each one have some are taking up the muscle spindle activity, others are taking about the Golgi body, Golgi receptor activity. Anyway, the cerebellum, here you will find the cerebellum continually collects information about the movements and positions of all parts of the body, even though it's operating at a subconscious level. So this is a guidance 713, unconscious proprioception is the correct response. Now, site of action of aldosterone on renal tubule. A tricky question. Proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle B, C, early distal convoluted tubule, D, collecting duct. Site of action of aldosterone on the renal tubule. Proximal convoluted tubule, it is only determined by all the transport of the sodium, potassium, glucose, and amino acids, etc. The aldosterone starts working at the distal part of the nephron, especially it increases the sodium reabsorption and thus simultaneously increases secretion of potassium by the renal tubular epithelial cells, especially in the principal cells of the collecting tubules, or the late distal convoluted tubule, late. So both late distal tubule and cortical collecting tubule segments reabsorb sodium ions, and the rate of reabsorption is controlled by aldosterone. This is Guyton, page 353. This is Guyton, page 959. The correct response is D, collecting duct. It's not an early distal convoluted tubule. It's not loop of Henle. It's not proximal convoluted tubule. Moving on to next question, 21.5. The phase of menstrual cycle occurring after ovulation. Very easy question. A, proliferative phase, B, secretory phase, C, bleeding phase, D, mid-luteal phase. The phase of menstrual cycle occurring after ovulation. So this should be, it's not mid-luteal is a luteal space, the middle of the mid-luteal. No, it's not mid-luteal. It is a secretory phase. This is a secretory phase. So now the answer is B, secretory phase. You can find this thing in the Genong's review, page 403. Next question, question 6. Chronoxy is increased when A, excitability of tissue is low. B, threshold of excitation is decreased. C, local excitatory state is present. D, membrane potential is near firing level. Now, this is a rather a difficult question in the sense the guy I searched the Genong and Guyton, and these chronoxy and Riobase, they are not there, though they mention about the excitability states, but they have not mentioned these particular things. They are available in higher textbooks. They are available in Samson Wright. They are available in Indu Kurana, and they are also available in some of the lectures I had given in this thing. So now look into this. The excitability of the tissue is low. Threshold of look at BCD. Threshold of excitation is decreased. That means easily excitable. Easily excitable. So that means it's not chronoxy. It's not the thing. If you before I go with this, I want to think about what is chronoxy. Chronoxy is a duration required to excite a membrane at twice the Riobase value. So it is the duration required to excite the membrane twice the Riobase value. It is the duration. What is Riobase? Riobase is the minimum voltage required to excite the membrane if given adequate time for adequate duration. So now it is twice the Riobase is chronoxy, and at that time, at the twice the Riobase, whatever it intersects, because there is a C-shaped curve, and this C-shaped curve, wherever it intercepts, that is taken. And usually when there is a low excitable state, this shifts upwards or outwards. So when it shifts outward, the chronoxy increases. So when the tissue is less excitable, is not easily excitable, so then this happens. So the answer to this question is A, excitability of tissue is low. If you are looking at the threshold of excitation is decreased, so that means it is easily excitable, so then chronoxy either decreased, it is not increased. Local excitatory state, again, it is producing the depolarization, it is easily excitable. The membrane potential is near the firing level. That means it is already near the firing state, and it will be again easily excitable. So the answer to this question is A, excitability of the tissue is low. I have given the reference of my YouTube here. YouTube lecture on a strength duration curve. You can go to this, or you can refer to the medical physiology by undergraduate students by Kurana and Kurana. Page 41. Moving on to question number 7, 22.2. In inverse stretch reflex, Golgi tendon organ is a receptor. B, muscle length is detected. C, length single synapse present. D, excitation of same alpha motor neuron is seen. Golgi tendon organs are present in the tendons. These are spray nerve endings, or the spray receptors, and they detect the force generated by the muscle. If the muscle contraction is too much, then they will send impulses through this Golgi tendon organ, and they are carried by the fiber 1B. They go to the spinal cord through an interneuron. They inhibit the alpha motor neuron. they do not excite the alpha motor neuron. Here it is mentioned excitation of the same. No, they inhibit the alpha motor neuron via an interneuron. That is one part. So that means the D is not correct. It's not single synapse because already an interneuron is there. It's more than one synapse. And its muscle length is monitored by the muscle spindle. The muscle force is monitored by the Golgi tendon organ. So it is the tension developed within the muscle to prevent the rupture of the muscle. So this is working. The answer to inverse stretch reflex is the Golgi tendon organ is a receptor. A is correct. I have already explained about other three options. You can find this thing in page 232 of Genome. Now, question number 8. After hyperpolarization, inaction potential is due to A. Opening up sodium channel, B. Opening up potassium channel, C. Slow closure of sodium channels, D. Slow closure of potassium channels. Opening up sodium channels results in the spike potential of stroke. Opening up potassium channels produces a repolarization. One produces a depolarization, one produces a repolarization. Slow closure of the sodium channels, it is masked. It's nothing to do with the after potential. It's because the sodium channels first close down. At that time, the potassium channels open up. Then it is the slow closure of the potassium channels that leads the after hyperpolarization. Slow return of potassium channels to the closed state explains the after hyperpolarization. The answer to this question is after hyperpolarization in action potential is due to slow closure of potassium channels. That's the correct response. Question number 9. The only situation when neuron is directly exposed to the external environment is in. This is a rather very peculiar question because the whole thing is mixed up. Anyway, we will take this question. The only situation when neuron is directly exposed to external environment is A. Taste buds, B. Skin, C. Cornea, D. Olfactory mucous membrane. Taste buds are covered with epithelial cells. There are receptors who are desquamated or who are removed very frequently, maybe 2 to 5 days. They are replaced. They are growing and they are getting eliminated. It's not the skin. Skin is again integument, and the number of neurons are not directly coming. There is an integument. There is a skin, dermis, epidermis, so on. The cornea is again having a epithelial layer, corneal epithelial layer, and this is again whatever the nerves they are not. It is the olfactory mucous membrane, which is the olfactory nerve is hanging in this nasal portion, and this is covered with the mucus, and that is the one which is exposed, or this olfactory epithelium is exposed to the external world in the body. The answer to this question is D. Olfactory mucous membrane. That's the correct response. D. Olfactory mucous membrane is the correct response. Question number 10. The action of cholecalciferol on intestinal transport of calcium is mediated through A. troponin, B. calbindin, C. calmodulin, D. cyclic AMP. Now, this question is rather very peculiar because it is not the final product. 1,2,5 cholecalciferol is the most potent form of this vitamin D. Now, cholecalciferol, it's a vitamin D3, which is to be converted in the liver into 25 cholecalciferol. Then in the kidney, 1 to 5 cholecalciferol. Now that becomes a potent one, and that 1 to 5 cholecalciferol is maybe several times, maybe 1,000 times potent than others. The answer to this question is 1 to 5 dihydrocholecalciferol functions as a type of hormone to promote intestinal absorption of calcium, mainly by increasing over a period of 2 days by forming calbindin, a calcium binding protein in the intestinal epithelial cells. So the answer to this question is B, calbindin. The action of cholecalciferol on intestinal transport of calcium is mediated through calbindin. Perhaps I would have preferred this as a 1 to 5 dihydrocholecalciferol on intestinal transport. That would have been a more correct stem. Anyway, it's less potent of the as compared to 1 to 5 cholecalciferol. Okay, these are my discussions on this question paper. Hope you find it useful, and maybe you can tally with your keys the university provides. And if you need any explanations or anything, I'm here. You can just drop in, put that in the channel, or leave it the comments in the box. Please subscribe to the channel. Mention any topic or questions to be discussed. Thank you.